British UK fans are triggered over Carl Froch's latest assessment of Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz 2. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus using my link below. It does indeed help the channel. Now, link in the description. Carl Froch, he's in Saudi Arabia, part of Sky Sports. He was interviewed regarding, obviously, the fight he's there to cover and commentate on, and that's Anthony Joshua. I want to say, I've said this several times on my channel, big fan of Carl Froch. You know, he's a man's man of sorts. Good performances, you know, great wins. You know, it didn't go his way with Andre Ward. I thought Darrell beat him, but he stepped in with everyone, all of his contemporaries. The only fight I wanted to see was Froch versus Calzaghe. I don't know why they didn't fight, but I respect his career, his body of work, and also his boxing brain. I will say this disclaimer, you know, I am from the Bay Area, and I feel like his assessment with 95% of boxing things is like really good, but that 5%, if you ask him about Andre Ward, to me he tends to go off the deep end and have this personal disdain for, you know, Andre Ward, and say he's dirty, and you know, he's like begrudged against Andre Ward. So I don't really take his Andre Ward commentary, Ward Kovalev commentary, that type of stuff with you have to take it with a grain of salt, because I think he's a little bit salty about that loss. But overall, I think he's a great, you know, ambassador of the sport, done great things in his career, and I really enjoy his commentary. And I want to say thank you to Carl Froch for being really an ambassador of the sport of boxing, and not just British boxing. So many times we see, and I've mentioned this several times, tribalism, you know, nationalism, and, you know, people who just pick with their heart and emotion, and they feel put up to giving certain commentary in boxing specifically. Boxing, I told you, is the best sport in the world, but the difference between this and rugby, soccer, NHL, hockey, MLB, baseball, football, basketball, etc., this is not a team sport. This is hand-to-hand combat, the sweet science, man versus man, mano y mano, woman versus woman, boxing. So you get a lot of nonsensical things when people bet with their heart. Now, it looks like the UK fans are upset, judging by the likes versus the dislikes, because of a recent interview with Carl Froch. Again, link in the description. And I think he kept it real. He gave his honest assessment. And I'm not going to read verbatim quote, but he basically said, he was asked about Joshua Ruiz. He said it's a big fight, and he was asked if it was, you know, the biggest fight maybe domestically since his fight, his rematch is the biggest rematch since his domestic rematch with George Groves at Wembley. And he said, yeah, you know, he said, I'm glad you said it, not me. It's up there. It's definitely up there. It's anticipated. There's a lot riding on it, things of that sort. But he said something, and I thought it was very important, and it's clearly triggered people in the comment section, you know, leaving comments, and angry Carl Froch talking about onion rings and all types of stuff in the comment section, thumbing down the video because he's giving his honest assessment, which I do believe to be true. Carl Froch basically said if Joshua loses on points, then, you know, he can dust himself off and try to recalibrate, figure out what went wrong, why he lost on points. But in the event that Joshua loses, similarly to the first fight, anything to do with if he gets battered, if he's getting dropped several times and then he loses, the referee stops it, things like that, he says it's basically over, isn't it? You know, and Joshua's career will be in shambles, because that's going to be harder to bounce back from. A guy you weren't supposed to lose to if you were to lose to him 2 times back to back, it just is not going to be a good look. He says, where do you go from there? You can continue to fight, but are you going to get the call from Deontay Wilder? Is Deontay Wilder going to want to fight him? He says, is Tyson Fury going to see fit to pursue an AJ fight coming off of back-to-back L's? Listen, folks, the walls are closing in. All that old media stuff, the walls are definitely closing in. Carl Froch is saying exactly what I've told you. Now, me being an American, when I say it, I'm wrong and I'm biased and I'm a bloody yank and a propadasa and all types of stuff in the comment section. But you have one of your own who is providing excellent commentary, and he's saying the same thing. So no matter what people say that makes them feel good because it's therapeutic, the world knows this is an important must-win scenario for Joshua. He's deciding to take matters into his own hand and adjust and correct, but that comes with the high price and risk. You weren't even supposed to lose this guy 1 time, so if you lose to him 2 times, I mean, you've just relegated yourself to obscurity, to irrelevance. You can't be a champion with 22 fights and then you were supposed to be built as this He-Man looking guy and the master boxer and the guy from the UK who's gonna take on the American longest reigning heavyweight champion, Deontay Wilder, and you were supposed to rival him. I never believed that. Like, I never thought Joshua would win that fight, and I've told you that several times. So I'm just saying the perception. People thought he could possibly beat Tyson Fury, possibly beat Wilder, his contemporary. So if you lose to a guy who's, again, physically much shorter reach, already battered you, already stopped you, dropped you 4 times, then, it is what it is. I'm my view a little bit stricter. I think if this is so much pressure on AJ, I don't think he can get hurt visibly and knocked down. Even if he were to, let's say he got knocked down twice and then won on the card some kind of way, right? It's over. It's over for that, because at the end of the day, how can we perceive Joshua as what he was billed as by Eddie Hearns if in 2 fights, an unknown commodity who people thought was done for in Andy Ruiz has knocked you down 6 times in 2 fights? People are going to be like, oh, he has an Amir Khan chin. And, that's not fair just because the heavyweight is, it's the heavyweight division. These guys are big, they can crack. But, some guys, Wilder, since he's been a champion, has not been down. So there's no way on earth that Joshua can get visibly hurt again, get dropped, and be regarded as who he once was supposed to be per Eddie Hearn and Rematch Room, how they built him. Even if he somehow won the fight after being knocked down. Like you see how Andy Ruiz, this is an example. Andy Ruiz had never been knocked down in his career until the Joshua fight. So people aren't going to hold that against him because he wasn't even supposed to be there. He didn't even have a full camp. We don't know. Joshua had his own words, Joshua had a 16-week camp. So how could I hold it against Andy Ruiz for, getting overconfident a little bit and being squared up and getting caught with a brilliant 2-piece from Joshua, but he didn't even know he would be fighting Joshua 8 weeks ago. He only had a 5-week camp. So, no one's looking past that. Plus, we haven't seen him hurt in multiple fights that he's fought. Like Joseph Parker, he didn't look hurt at any point. So I think he's more durable. Bottom line, it's a must-win scenario for AJ for obvious reason. And this is the danger of taking an immediate rematch. The same could be said, and this is even a bit more of a stretch in comparison and comparatively speaking to Joshua. But Lennox Lewis lost to Hasim Rahman later in his career. That was like literally one of his last 4 fights or so, right? And even at that point, even though Lennox Lewis had already fought Oliver McCall twice, fought Evander Holyfield twice, he had already beaten Tommy Morrison, he had already beaten Shannon the Cannon Briggs, he had already beat Ray Mercer Tyrell Suggs. You know, he had already beat who else? Razor Ruddock and different people. Even though that was the case, if he would have did an immediate rematch and lost to Hasim Rahman again, then that's it. Hasim Rahman would have probably went on to the bigger glories, and Lennox Lewis would have probably retired. I mean, what else would he want to do? Why would he want to do? It doesn't make sense to have a trilogy, and that's why I don't understand this trilogy talk from Joshua. The only way it's a trilogy is if he wins and pretty much wins impressively, you know. But there would be no reason if Lennox Lewis hypothetically got knocked out in both of the Hasim Rahman fight and then the immediate rematch. There's no reason. If a guy has you 2-0, it just sounds like he has your number. We have never in the history of the sport that I can remember of had no trilogy where there was no draw or decided victor in the first fight, and then it led on to a trilogy when one person won 2-0. I mean, just picture it. Manny Pacquiao, his first fight was very close with Eric Morales, and it was very close. They gave it to Morales. But then Pacquiao won the second fight, so then they ran it back. That makes sense because Morales won one, Pacquiao won one, so you do a rubber match. But if Joshua gets flattened, there's no need for a rubber match. Someone beats you 2-0. It's just like a basketball playoff game. It's an eliminator game. If you get swept, then you're out. If you don't win any games and you just lose the first 4 games out of 7, you know, you got swept. That's just what it is. So, you know, the bottom line is Joshua, he has to win. And I'm glad Carl Froch also is saying, just to give you guys different opinions, but this is what we've been saying. This is what I've been saying. New media. Carl Froch specifically said, and I agree, Joshua has to win, but he has to also win in style. Told you. Let me know what you guys think. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.